What is going on, guys? Vortide here, and today we're going to be talking about HCEs versus Tier 8 static dungeons. I wanted to make this video as fair as possible and put no bias on HCEs or T8 static dungeons, so I based everything off what the average group of players would do. I want to acknowledge that there are special strategies in both HCEs and static dungeons that can provide more fame and silver than just doing the actual activities, but once again for this video, I did these activities with no special strategy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fame. For HCEs, I already had a lot of collected data and actually made a chart for the amount of fame on every single map. So what I did was take the average of map levels 16, 17, and 18 and added those values together to get a value of 1.2 million fame roughly per hour. If you're interested in seeing how I created that chart, I'll go ahead and link the video down below. For the tier 8 static dungeons, I went with groups of 5, 6, and even 10. I kept track of how much fame I would earn in 10-minute intervals as I initially tried doing full hours, but I would always end up getting in a fight with divers or other groups. I'll be talking about the fights in the risk part of the video, but going in the 5-man groups resulted in the most fame, so I'm going to use that data for this video. Also, a little disclaimer is that I did the dungeon during the regular hours, not during a mob buff/rally phase. I ended up taking the average of all the 5-man 10-minute intervals and got around 273,000 fame, which I multiplied by 6 to get 1.6 million fame roughly per hour. Clearly, Tier 8 static dungeons gave around 400,000 more fame per hour than doing HCEs. Let's go ahead and talk about the silver you make from doing these activities. This is based purely on the silver that mobs drop and doesn't include the loot from bags. For HCEs, similarly to Fame, I created an HCE silver per map chart in the past. The video for how this chart was created will be linked in the description as well. I used the data from the chart and averaged level 16, 17, and 18 silver gain, and then added those three numbers up to get around 2 million silver per hour. For the tier 8 static dungeons, I just took the amount of silver I made from doing the dungeons in the 10-minute intervals and averaged it and then multiplied it by 6 to get around 650,000 silver per hour. It's clear that HCEs provide more silver per hour than tier 8 static dungeons. I didn't take the random loot into consideration because it's near impossible to predict how much the loot will be worth in silver as it's generated by random number generation. Real quick, if you guys are enjoying the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more Albion online content. Let's go ahead and talk about risk. HCEs require no risk at all. You can't lose your gear in any way. They do, however, require that gear to be Gucci though, anywhere from around 50 million to 100 million per build. Since the items are so expensive, if you go down while doing the map, each down can cost around 200,000 silver, assuming you only brought the items you need and no mount. When doing HCEs, you can usually get around 3 maps done within an hour. Let's say you do levels 16 through 18, and you end up going down once every map. This would result in around a 600,000 silver repair cost. It's common that no one would go down at all during the runs, but I wanted to make this as fair as possible, so we're going to go ahead and just assume the 1 down per map. The main risk of doing HCEs is a hefty repair bill if you go down. Moving on to the risk for the tier 8 static dungeons, which is your whole gear set. For doing tier 8 static dungeons, you usually need around 1300 IP. This is usually equivalent to anywhere between 1 to 1.2 million silver. There is no guarantee that you'll be dove or encounter a fight when doing these dungeons. It really depends on the popularity of the location. From my multiple hours doing them though, we ended up encountering at least a fight per hour, and there was even 2 fights in one of the hour time frames. Luckily, I was doing these dungeons with people who were really good PvPers, so we ended up not dying any of these times and ended up wiping the other groups. One of the fights, when I was in the 6-man group, resulted in us getting around 7 million silver of loot from killing the opposing group when we split it. Obviously, the tier 8 dungeons are a lot higher risk, but they can give a high reward if you end up encountering another group and wiping them out. But at the same time, you could lose your 1 to 1.2 million silver set. Before we go ahead and end the video, I wanted to announce that the giveaway is still going on for 500,000 silver. If you want to enter it, you can leave your in-game name in the comments down below or on the last video when I initially announced the giveaway. So just to let you guys know, the winners will be announced in the next video, and I'm so hyped to get to 600 subscribers. I think we're 5 away, so that's gonna be so awesome, and I can't wait to give back to you guys with this giveaway. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this comparison video between HCEs and Tier 8 static dungeons. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.